Introduction. The world of ancient Greek intimacy. When we talk about ancient Greece, most people imagine philosophers, myths, democracy, and great battles. But behind these famous achievements existed a very different side of Greek life. One filled with strange traditions, unusual beliefs about pleasure, and social rules that may feel shocking today. This script explores those practices without graphic detail, focusing instead on culture, meaning, and context. The goal is simple: to understand why ancient Greeks behaved the way they did, what shaped their choices, and how their attitudes influenced later societies, the Greek philosophy of the body. Before exploring bizarre customs, we must understand the Greek view of the human body. Greeks believed the body was a symbol of beauty and power. Pleasure was part of mental and spiritual health. Intimacy could teach discipline, loyalty, and social order. Their ideas came from philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, and Herodotus, who often connected desire with knowledge, strength, and cosmic balance. To the Greeks, nothing about the body was shameful. Only lack of control was. This foundation shaped every strange practice you'll hear next. Marriage was not the center of desire. Unlike modern society, the Greeks did not expect all pleasure to happen inside marriage. Marriage was mostly for forming alliances, producing children, stabilizing property and inheritance. Desire, however, was seen as a personal journey, not a marital duty.
And what did they use for toilet
This separation
paper?
created many unusual customs, because people sought experience, excitement, and companionship outside the marriage bond, but within social rules, rituals connected to fertility gods. One of the strangest elements of Greek life was the role of fertility cults. Followers worshipped gods like Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy; Aphrodite, goddess of love; Pan, god of nature and wild instincts;
This
Demeter,
communal approach
goddess
shows us
of
that the Greek
agriculture and
concept
fertility.
of privacy was vastly
Worship
different from
sometimes
our own.
included symbolic
Now,
acts,
let's talk
songs,
about
dances,
health
and celebrations
and
meant to
medicine.
bring
If
good
you got
harvests,
sick in
healthy
ancient
children,
Greece,
or community
you wouldn't
unity.
just go to a doctor.
The bizarre part? Many rituals involved props, masks, statues, or symbolic gestures that looked
most
strange
famous
to
of these
outsiders.
was at Epidaurus.
For Greeks, these actions were not
The healing
indecent.
process
They
here
were
was
spiritual
truly
ceremonies
unique.
that connected
Patients
humans
would
to
perform
nature and
rituals,
divine forces.
make offerings,
Symposium
and
culture,
then sleep in a
pleasure
special
with philosophy.
dormitory called the
The
Abaton.
symposium was a major part
This
of
is where
Greek
things
life.
get strange.
It was not
It was
just a
believed
drinking
that during
party.
the night,
It was a place
Asclepius
where
himself
men
or
discussed
sacred
philosophy.
snakes
Musicians
visit the
performed,
sick in their dreams.
entertainers visited,
These dreams were
friendships and
considered
emotional
divine
bonds
messages.
formed.
In the
One
morning,
unusual aspect was
priests
how
would help the
symposia
patient
blended
interpret the
intellect
dream
with
to
pleasure.
figure out the cure.
Greeks believed you could train the mind by exploring emotions, desires, and social power. Some behaviors at symposiums may
And
seem strange
the
today,
snakes,
but in Greek
they
culture
were
they had deep meaning,
non-venomous,
teaching
and allowed
loyalty,
to slither freely
mentorship,
around
and
the
self-control.
sanctuary, even among the
The
sleeping
practice of
patients.
companion bonds.
They were seen as symbols of renewal.
One of the most
and healing.
misunderstood Greek
While it
customs
sounds
involved
mystical,
relationships
these
between older
sanctuaries were
mentors and
also
younger
places where
proteges.
practical advice
This
on
topic is
diet.
often sensationalized today, but in reality, ancient Greek society had strict rules,
Let's shift
including
from healing
emotional
to the body
mentorship,
itself.
moral
The
training,
Greeks,
physical
especially
discipline,
the Athenians and
philosophical
Spartans,
tutoring.
were
Any
obsessed
improper
with
behavior
physical
was
perfection.
socially condemned. The
The
bond was
gymnasium
meant to build
wasn't just a
character,
place to work
not
out.
to exploit.
It was a social and
Although the
intellectual
practice is
hub.
viewed as
But here's
unacceptable
the
today,
twist.
and rightfully
They
so,
exercised
understanding,
completely
it
naked.
historically
The
helps
word
us see why
gymnasium
Greeks
actually
considered
comes
it
from
part
the
of
Greek word
education and
gymnos,
loyalty,
which
rather
means
than
naked.
pleasure.
For them,
This section shows how
exercising in the
different
nude was
ancient
a tribute
values
to the
were from
gods
today's
and a
ethics.
celebration
The
of
Spartan
human
system,
form.
discipline
It also
through
allowed for
control.
an even tan, which was
Sparta
considered
was
a sign
unlike
of a
all other
healthy,
Greek states.
leisurely lifestyle.
While Athenians pursued beauty and art, Spartans focused on discipline, strength, military loyalty. Their unusual customs included strict communal living and emotional bonds between soldiers. Spartans believed intimacy, emotional or symbolic, made warriors loyal and fearless. To them, personal closeness created unbreakable unity on the battlefield. What might appear bizarre now was actually a military tool in their eyes. Sacred courtesans in the puzzle of Greek pleasure. A unique group existed in Greece known as hetairae, highly educated courtesans. They were different from ordinary companions. Trained in philosophy, skilled in conversation, involved in politics, financially independent. Many strange stories about
This
Greek
wasn't just
intimacy
a dinner
came from
party.
Hetairite
It was an
traditions,
all-male drinking
costumes,
party that
rituals,
involved deep
competitions of beauty,
philosophical
and
discussions,
dramatic public
poetry
performances.
recitals,
Greeks
music,
saw these women as
and
symbols
games.
of freedom,
It was a space
intelligence,
for
and
men
charm.
to bond,
Their presence
debate,
at festivals often
and
created
network.
customs that outsiders
Women,
saw as bizarre,
aside from entertainers,
but were celebrated
or
in Greek
courtesans,
society.
called hetairai,
Beauty standards
were
that led to
generally
strange
excluded.
practices.
The hetairai were educated,
Some of the odd
witty,
traditions
and
came from
independent
unusual
women
beauty
who could
beliefs,
engage with
such
men
as
on an intellectual
light skin
level.
for women,
Unlike
muscular
most
bodies for
respectable
men,
wives who were confined
symbolic
to the
jewelry,
home, this divide between
perfumes
the wife
made from exotic
who managed
plants,
the household and
grooming
produced
habits linked to
legitimate
social
heirs,
rank.
and the hetairai,
These beauty norms led
who
to
provided
rituals and
intellectual
traditions that
and
now
physical
seem unusual,
companionship,
especially
reveals a
those
lot about
involving
gender
public
roles
displays,
and the
competitive
different
flirting,
forms of
or
relationships that
symbolic
exist in
garments
Greek
worn at
society.
festivals.
Love,
But again, the Greeks saw
marriage,
these practices
and
as
pleasure were
expressions
often
of
seen
art
as
and
separate
culture,
concepts,
not
each with its
indecency.
own place in the social order.
Mythology is a
Even their
source of
system
strange
justice
customs.
had some peculiar elements.
Greek myths
In
constantly
Athens,
mixed
if
humans
a politician
with gods,
became too
animals,
powerful or was
desire,
seen as
and
a threat
magic.
to democracy,
Stories about
citizens
Zeus,
had a unique way
Aphrodite,
of dealing
and
with him.
Dionysus.
It was called
shaped
ostracism.
people's imagination,
Once a year,
leading to symbolic
citizens could gather in
practices
the
such
agora,
as
or marketplace,
reenacting
and
mythic
vote
events,
to exile someone
using
for 10
masks
years.
of satyrs
The
or
voting
nymphs,
was done by scratching
dancing
the
in forest
personess's
festivals,
name onto a piece of
honoring
broken
tales
pottery called an
of fertility
ostracon.
and harvest. Some
If a
rituals
person
sound shocking
received at
today,
least 6,000
but they were
votes,
myth-based
they were
theater,
banished
not
from the
real
city.
desire.
The fascinating
Greeks
part
used mythology
is that
to
you didn't have
explain
commit a
nature,
crime to
power,
be
and emotion.
ostracized. It was a purely
What made these
political
practices
tool
bizarre?
to prevent tyranny.
Today, Greek
It was a way for
customs
the
seem
people to
bizarre
say,
because we live with different moral systems. Religion changed society. Marriage became central to intimacy.
imagine being so
Privacy
successful
became
at your
important.
job that your coworkers
Modern
vote
law
to have
rejects
you sent away
practices
for a
tied to
decade.
inequality.
It's a powerful,
But to the Greeks,
and rather
these
extreme
customs were
example
normal,
of direct
spiritual,
democracy in action.
artistic,
Now,
educational,
let's talk about
social.
superstitions.
Their world
The
was
ancient
built on
Greeks were
symbolism and
logical,
ritual,
yes,
rather
but
than
they were also
secrecy or
deeply
shame.
superstitious.
The legacy of Greek desire in modern culture. Many modern ideas came from
The
Greek
evil eye was
attitudes
the
toward
belief
the
that a
body.
person could cause harm
Gym
to someone
culture,
else simply by
beauty
giving them an
competitions,
envious or malicious glare.
theater
To ward
based
it
on
off,
passion,
they used
philosophical
amulets,
discussions
often
about
shaped like
desire,
eyes. You can still
emotional
see this tradition
mentorship,
today in
artistic
modern Greece
nudity.
and other Mediterranean
The
cultures.
bizarre customs
Sneezing
faded over
was
time,
also seen
but the Greek
as a
belief that
powerful
emotion,
omen.
beauty, and
Sneeze could be a
thought are
sign
linked
from the
still
gods, a good
influences
sign if it happened
the
at the
world.
right moment,
Conclusion,
or a bad one if it happened
understanding
at the wrong
without
time.
judging.
For example,
Ancient
if a general
Greek
was giving
bizarre
a speech to his
practices
troops
were not
and someone
just about
sneezed,
desire.
it could be
They were
interpreted
about
as divine
expression,
approval for the battle
spirituality,
plan. They also believed in ghosts
social
and
bonds,
spirits,
power,
with many tales
mythology,
of haunted houses,
education.
and vengeful spirits.
To understand
Magic was
them,
a real force
we must
in
see their world through
and
their
people would
eyes,
buy
not
cursed
ours.
tablets in
Their
sheets of
customs
lead
helped
with
shape
curses
Western
inscribed on
philosophy,
them to harm
literature,
their
and art,
enemies in business,
even if many of those
lawsuits,
customs feel strange
or love.
today.
Finally,